Tonight on Lost and Found, a Sydney mother of 6.
Family is just absolutely everything in my life.
But family hasn't always come easily.
I had to give up everything and I cried my eyes out.
The search for a child left behind.
I had no idea of what the place was going to be like. I want my son back, simple as that.
And she's travelled seeking a father she's never known.
I've always imagined meeting my dad.
Her mother, fond memories of him.
I heard her name was Emiko and she looks very Japanese. I think she'll be very cute.
What lengths will they go to find him?
I just prayed to my ancestors.
And were they looking in the right place? Families that are lost and found.
Oh my God.
They're always unpredictable.
Guess we could use all the help we can get.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hi, I'm Leanne Blake.
I left my 4-year-old boy Peter with his dad 28 years ago in a place called Nightcaps in Southland. And I've not seen him since. I had no money. My marriage ended. I was forced to leave Peter behind with his dad when I returned home to Sydney. I'm planning to come to New Zealand to try and find him. Can you please help me?
Time and distance can only create a deep sense of separation. Perhaps it's still possible to bring these two together.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes and eyes and ears.
48-year-old Leanne Blake lives in Sydney's western suburbs and works as a telemarketer. Leanne's been married 3 times and has had 6 children.
I've got 4 girls at home. They're absolutely fabulous. They spend a lot of time at my house. They love being around me. I love being with them. We have lots of fun together and, you know, family is just absolutely everything in my life.
After 20 years of marriage and raising daughters Gretel and Stella, husband Andrew knows very well what Leanne has achieved.
Oh, she's an awesome mum, yeah. Yeah, she's always there for her kids, does everything for them. She always puts everybody else first before herself.
But Leanne's pain relates to her firstborn, her son Peter, that she left behind in New Zealand 28 years ago.
She does have enormous sadness, yeah, my word, yes. It's just a huge emotion that she goes through many times over.
Andrew has always supported Leanne's search for her absent son.
Oh, I want her 100% to be able to find and reconnect with Peter because in her heart, it's a void that really needs to be filled.
I'd never exclude him ever. Every Christmas, every birthday. I just want to have a relationship with the person that he is now. He's not a little boy anymore, he's a grown man, you know.
Just to have all my family together would just, you know, just make life complete for me. Simple as that.
Leanne met her first husband in Sydney, and soon after they moved, along with baby Peter, to his hometown in southern New Zealand, the small coal mining town of Nightcaps. After happy beginnings in Sydney, Leanne's time in Nightcaps turned into a very bleak period of her life. Now, almost 3 decades later, she's returning to try to find her son, Peter. Oof. Remember the Southland weather?
I certainly do.
So you were quite a youngster when you came here?
Yeah, 17, a bit of a culture shock coming here all the way from Sydney.
And a young baby?
Yes, 8 months old. Bringing him here, I had no idea of what the place was going to be like at all.
Leanne's marriage fell apart. While her 28-year-old husband often went to the pub with friends, 17-year-old Leanne, underage, isolated, and with a young baby, was left at home alone.
I couldn't handle it because I didn't have any friends, I didn't have any family, I didn't have anything here, only my son, and he was determined that I wasn't going to take my son with me.
You wanted to take Peter with you?
Yeah, I did. But he wouldn't allow me to take him because I had nowhere to take him to. That was the pressure. It was a lot of pressure applied on me. So I had to
give up everything and I cried my eyes out because I had nowhere to go. And then I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter and I just had nowhere to go.
She says her husband dumped her at a bus stop in Invercargill. Pregnant, with no money and without her son Peter, she had to fend for herself.
I found my own place, that little place called Winton. So that was where I had my baby.
And she was born, but then something terrible. What happened?
Yeah, well, she died at 5.5 weeks old. It was very, you know, like, it was a bit of a shocking time there when I lost her. It was very heartbreaking for me and I lost it very badly.
When your baby died, how did it affect your relationship with your ex-husband?
He'd already got a lawyer, papers drawn up, unbeknownst to me, to sign over my son to him.
Leanne, in shock after the death of her baby Natalie and struggling financially, felt no option but to give custody of 4-year-old Peter to her ex-husband. With no reason to stay in Southland, Leanne packed her bags and headed home to Sydney.
I felt empty when I left here. Absolutely nothing. I didn't feel like anything. Emptiness, just, I feel gutted and ripped off. You know, I want my son back, simple as that.
Leanne returned just once to visit Peter when he was about to turn 5. It was also the last time she visited the grave of her daughter, Natalie. So, there's no headstone, just a white cross we're looking for?
Yeah.
Right. Leanne is not sure if anyone's been here to visit the grave at the Winton Cemetery since that last visit 27 years ago. Cot deaths are terrible, aren't they?
She knows I think of her every single day. Would have been a stunning girl if she'd lived. Absolutely stunning. Red hair, blue eyes, olive skin.
Well, I'll leave you to say your last goodbye and I'll just wait for you down by the car.
Okay.
I've left Leanne to do some searching in Southland. My search for Peter Butler proves harder than I was expecting. All my checks in New Zealand reveal nothing. So I try Australia. In the white pages, there's nobody obvious, but in another online search, I strike gold. A Peter Ross Butler. It may not be a current address, but there is a phone number.
Hello?
Oh, hello, is that Peter Butler?
That's me.
Peter, my name's David Lomas, and I'm calling you because someone's looking for you.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
A woman called Leanne Blake.
Leanne Blake? Dunno.
She says she's your mother. Sydney telemarketer Leanne Blake was devastated when she had to leave her infant son behind in New Zealand 28 years ago. I've just tracked him down in Australia. Peter, my name's David Lomas, and I'm calling you because someone's looking for you.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
A woman called Leanne Blake.
Leanne Blake? Dunno.
She says she's your mother.
Oh, mum. That's pretty random.
She's been looking for you for quite a long time.
Oh, yeah? Jesus. When the last day? 5.
She says she's thought of you every day since the last time she saw you.
That's 27 years ago. That's random.
She would like to meet you.
Yeah. I'm a pretty firm person because I've had a pretty rough life, so I don't believe much till I see it.
Well, Leanne's done a video message for you. Would you be happy to meet me so I could show you that?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Peter tells me he's a truck driver and that 2 years ago he moved to Australia. He has a young son, but he lives back in New Zealand with his ex-partner. I'm quite curious to see how Peter reacts to what I have to tell him and show him. Does he remember his mother? And does he know why she left him all those years ago? You the Kiwi chap?
Yeah, that's me.
Great. Thanks for meeting us here. I'm David.
How's it going?
Hi. Well, your mum's looking for you.
Righto.
Do you know much about her?
Not really. About 5 years old, I think, the last time I seen her, yeah.
She wrote to you?
Yeah, did. For about 2 or 3 years, I think, yeah.
Do you have any idea why she left you?
No.
It's a bit unusual for a mother to actually leave the child behind.
My dad did talk to me about some circumstances, but I'm not too sure how truthful they were because, yeah, me and him don't get along anymore. So he found a woman when I was 14. She didn't like me very much, so he decided that she was more important than me, so he left me too. At 14.
When did you depart home?
I was 14 and I just lived by myself and brought myself up.
It must have been a hard childhood.
Yeah, it was kind of hard, like getting myself off to school and lighting a fire to keep warm and washing my hand. But I had some pretty good next door neighbours and pretty good community I lived in, so they looked after me.
Did you know you had a little sister?
Yep, my dad did tell me about that. Yeah. I've been to her grave many times.
Your mum said she felt like after your sister died, your dad sort of abandoned her. She was almost railroaded out of town. So, would you like to see her and see what she has? Would you like to see her and see what she has to say to you?
Yeah, why not? Have a look.
And if you hit that play button.
Hi Peter, it's your mum here, Leanne. I've come all the way from Australia to come and find you. I'm hoping that we can meet. I've really missed you. You've never left my heart and I always love you. I've got 4 beautiful daughters, which are your sisters, that are dying to meet you. I hope that we can catch up and see each other. You've never left me, ever.
Oh, yeah?
So that's your mum?
Yeah, that's cool.
Do you remember her?
Not really. Don't remember her.
Would you like to meet her?
Yeah, why not? Why not? You only live once.
So, any anxiety?
Oh, yeah, I've been a bit nervous. It's been a long time. Got a lot of friends, but no family, so... apart from my son. So, yeah. Crazy.
It's not surprising that Peter's protective shell seems closed. After becoming disconnected from his mother, and later his father, and having separated from his partner, he's wary of relationships of any kind.
I always got open arms to good people in my life, people that I can trust and people I can depend on. As to people that I can't trust, I won't have anything to do with those sort of people.
So for the moment, it's enough that he's agreed to meet his mum. It's time to check in with Leanne. Having done some of her own searching around nightcaps, she's waiting for me in Invercargill. So, had any luck trying to find Peter at all?
No, I haven't. None at all. I talked to a few people out at nightcaps and they haven't heard of him at all, but just other family members, that's about it.
Well, I've had a little bit of luck. I actually went to Australia and I met a chap. And his name's Peter.
Wow.
He's your son.
Is this for real?
Yeah. And he'd like to meet you.
Oh my God. This is for real, is this real? Oh my God.
So he can meet you and your girls and your husband?
Fantastic. This is awesome. This is awesome. I want to scream, I want to shout, I want to jump, you know?
So how do you think your girls and your husband...
They're going to hit the roof. They're just going to jump for joy. They're going to be just so happy, you know, because they know how I feel about all this and they've always wanted a brother, so how awesome is that?
For Peter, being a brother to siblings is something totally foreign to him.
I'm not an emotional person because I'm so hardened. That's just my problem, like most people would be going on about stuff, but yeah.
It's challenging the defences he has built around himself since his mother and father disappeared from his life way back in nightcaps. Leanne came to New Zealand to search for her son, but now, ironically, she's flying home to meet him in Australia, where he now lives. She last saw Peter when he was just 5 years old. Well, your family's just about to explode in numbers. You're going to get 4 sisters and a mum. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. Don't know, see what happens, I suppose. Bring it on.
Your 2 youngest sisters, they're 9 and 13. They reckon they're going to run up and give you a great big hug.
Okay. Wow, well, that's cool. Yeah, look forward to it.
After 28 years of wondering and worrying, Leanne is waiting down by the water's edge. You're just about to meet your son. How are you feeling?
Excited, nervous, a bit shaky, butterflies, all the emotions. It's just, you know.
You won't know this, but Peter's had one heck of a life.
Hello, headband.
Sydney mother Leanne Blake was forced to leave behind her firstborn in nightcaps, southern New Zealand. You're just about to meet your son. How are you feeling?
Bit shaky, butterflies, all the emotions. It's just, you know.
You won't know this, but Peter's had one heck of a life. When he was 14, his dad basically left him alone back in nightcaps, and he moved to Christchurch. And Peter fed for himself, chopped his own firewood, did his own washing, had to buy his own food, $40 a week. So for quite a few years, he actually had no family. If you were to walk over there and along there and see up on that ledge up there a guy in the blue and white stripes, he's up there waiting, and
Awesome.
he would love to see you.
I can't wait.
Good luck.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for everything. I was a bundle of nerves. I didn't know, what the reaction was going to be, or, you know, just felt butterflies, and, yeah, 28 years. He's my only boy, the only one, and he's my first son. He's my firstborn. Hi.
G'day, there you go.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
No, that's all right. I wanted to come. Definitely.
This is awesome. I'm so nervous.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous too. That's all right.
I could feel like the strength from him cuddling into me. It was great. It was awesome.
I was pretty nervous, but at the same time wanting to actually meet. It was good, very emotional, especially for my mum.
Can I meet the family? Okay. Stella, I'd like to meet
G'day.
your brother Peter.
There you go, love.
Awesome.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Gretel?
G'day.
This is Gretel. She's the youngest.
Gretel.
And
There you go.
The oldest to the youngest.
Nice to meet you. How old are you?
9.
9. Hey, spring chicken.
And this is Victoria.
Victoria, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. Oh, it's surreal. It's just a whole new family that I never knew existed.
This is my husband Andrew.
G'day, mate.
Right.
Not too bad. It's undescribable, really. It makes me feel good. You know, it's the closest people that you're going to have to you as a family. Yes.
These two together.
Oh, awesome.
You never thought it would happen, did you?
It's the best day ever. You know, I've waited for this day for 28 years. I can't describe it in words because, you know, bringing my son and I together like this is just brilliant.
How much hurt and how much sadness? Year after year after year. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't worry about it anymore.
No, that's right.
Awesome.
When do you start?
After a late night of catching up, Peter is in a whole new world of family and togetherness.
See, that boat's got like a front at this end and a front at
Hey,
that
let me
end.
see that big ferry. I can see millions of people on it. You have a look, Peter.
I'm just so over the moon. They just can't believe it. They just love him already. They just think it's wonderful.
Run you over. Just feel welcome and happy, and these people are definitely, yeah, they'll be in my life forever now. It's been probably one of the best experiences of my life, for sure. Yeah.
Peter and his son are now part of Leanne's family.
I just feel like everything's in completion. Everything feels right. We just feel united as a family, and it's how it should have always been, you know?
Hello, my name is Emiko. I'm looking for my father, Toshi Hio. 20 years ago, my mum came to Japan to teach English, and she got pregnant and then went back to New Zealand. I'm here now in Japan, learning about my Japanese culture, and also with hopes to find my father, who I've never met before.
It's hard when you've never met your dad and he comes from a culture different from the one you've grown up with. 21-year-old student Emiko is in Japan trying to find the dad she's never met. She and partner Ari Nuttall are on a gap year. Emiko only knows her father's name, Toshi Hio Niwa. Her years of searching online, especially since she's been in Japan, have failed to find him. Before going to Japan, I need to talk to Emiko's mother, Ariana Sheehan. Ariana lives in Hamilton, where she lectures in Maori studies. She has fond memories of Emiko's father, who she went out with when she was in Japan in the early 1990s.
Toshi Hio was a fun-loving young man, and he enjoyed playing baseball. Yeah, he was a lovely man.
How did you end up being separated?
I told Toshi Hio I was pregnant with Emiko, and he actually freaked out a little bit. I wanted to come home to New Zealand.
Did you keep in contact?
We kept in contact for about a year after Emiko was born. He wrote letters. I wrote some letters back to him, sending photos of Emiko. This is the letter I got first from Toshi Hio. He wrote, last night I heard that you had a baby girl. I heard her name is Emiko and she looks very Japanese. I think she'll be very cute. Please tell me what I can do to help. I would like to see Emiko and meet her. I do not forget you. And here is a T-shirt for Emiko. I hope it fits her. Emiko means blessed, merciful, beautiful child. And yes, she's a blessing to me, and she's a beautiful young woman.
How do you think Toshi Hio will react to knowing that Emiko is looking for him?
I have been a little bit nervous about that in the past. When I was in Kyoto, Toshi Hio wasn't really keen on me meeting his family. I think that was because I wasn't Japanese. So I suppose I've been a bit concerned about how his family may react to him having a 21-year-old daughter.
Finding Toshi Hio Niwa while I'm in New Zealand is probably not going to be easy. I decide to head for Japan, to the city of Matsumoto. Matsumoto is in the mountainous Nagano region where the 1998 Winter Olympics were held. Emiko is working here on a farm. After talking to her mother, I know Emiko was raised in a big family with younger brothers and sisters. And even though her stepfather, Penny, treated her as a daughter, Emiko always felt a bit different because she knew her biological father was a mysterious Japanese man.
Early on, I wasn't very curious about him. I kind of just knew that he was the story that I'd heard. I've always had photos of him, so visually I've been able to see him in my head. When I was becoming a teenager, I started to become more curious about him and who he was and where he was.
How important is finding your dad for you?
I've just met with 21-year-old student Emiko Shion in Japan. She's here looking for her Japanese birth father, Toshi Hio Niwa, whom she's never met.
When I was becoming a teenager, I started to become more curious about him and who he was and where he was.
How important is finding your dad for you?
I've always imagined meeting my dad, but I think it'll be a completely different thing when it happens. I don't know. I've got no idea what my reaction will be.
Growing up, was it ever a problem being part Japanese?
Obviously, I look a bit Japanese. As soon as I meet people, you know, my name's Emiko, so they always wonder, you know, where that name's from and where I'm from.
You've come to Japan? Why?
I'm here to learn about my culture and to learn about the Japanese people and their way of life. Maybe by the time I leave, I'll be able to call myself Japanese and feel good about it.
Emiko has known her boyfriend, Ari Nuttall, since they were 7 years old. But it wasn't until they were in their late teens that they started a relationship. He's now very much involved in the compulsive search for her dad.
Do you think he knows that song?
I hope so.
Finding her father always seemed like something which is a total long shot. It seemed like an impossibility. It's pretty crazy to think that an ancient fortress just turns into a tourist place like that, huh?
Yeah.
Emiko's quest to understand her Japanese side has led her to embrace aspects of Shinto.
And Shinto is a kind of ancestor worship and nature worship religion. When you arrive, you go over to the washing area and wash your hands. Make sure that you're clean. Cleanliness is one of the 4 virtues of the Shinto religion.
You gonna say a prayer for your dad?
Yeah, I guess so.
Guess we could use all the help we can get, huh? Do you have cash? Mm-hmm. You don't want to be cheap, these are gods.
I just prayed to my ancestors with help finding my father. I need all the help I can get.
I begin searching for a phone number for Toshi Hio Niwa, and an extraordinary thing happens. Google leads me straight to a Toshi Hio Niwa living near Seattle in the USA. Seattle is where 20 years ago, in a letter to Emiko's mother, Ariana, Toshi Hio mentioned his new girlfriend lived. Oh, hello, is that Toshi Hio Niwa? The Toshi Hio who answers confirms he once went out with Ariana, and he agrees to meet me. I leave Emiko and Ari in Matsumoto. They believe I'm off to another part of Japan in search of Toshi Hio. But what they don't know is that the Toshi Hio I've found lives in Seattle on the west coast of America. This Toshi Hio hasn't yet confirmed that he's Emiko's father, but he's agreed to meet me on the outskirts of Seattle at the Starbucks near his home in Woodinville. The question is, will Toshi Hio, an American citizen for nearly 20 years, accept a 21-year-old Kiwi daughter into his life? You Toshi?
Hi.
I'm David. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Grab a seat. So, your daughter's looking for you. Have you thought about her over the years?
I was always thinking about her a long time, yeah.
Why did you and Emiko never sort of keep in contact?
Well, I was thinking about maybe I can keep in touch, but I kind of hesitate because I don't know what she's thinking about me, you know.
You weren't sure what she thought about you?
I mean, me and Lisa are both young.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything. And plus, I was so complicated my life because I met an American lady, and I had to talk to my parents. And
when I rang you and said that she was looking for you, how did you feel about that?
I was nice and shocked, kind of surprised me. Yeah. Oh, I'm so kind of happy, you know. Yeah. Because I kind of try to contact, but it's kind of I didn't know, not sure if they're okay or not.
Emiko's done a video message which you would like me to show you. So if you were to just to push that button there.
Konnichiwa, Niwa Toshihiko-san. Watashi wa Emiko desu. Anata no musume desu. Ima, Nihon ni imasu. Watashi wa Nihon no bunka ya Nihon no dento ni tsuite manabitai desu. Soshite, watashi wa tottemo anata ni aitai desu. Anata mo watashi to onaji you ni omotte kureteru to ureshii desu. Arigatou.
Good Japanese. You speak good Japanese.
She was very keen to do it in Japanese so that it would impress you. She went to Japan to try and find you, to learn a little bit about her Japanese culture and to learn the language.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. She knows a lot of words now.
Would you be happy to meet her?
I like to see.
And her mum can come too?
That's fine, yeah, good.
Yeah. And the boyfriend?
The boyfriend. Yeah, all together.
2 years after Ariana returned to New Zealand to give birth to Emiko, Toshi Hio met and married his American wife, Sarah. They have a 15-month-old daughter. Toshi exports fresh American produce to Japan. Sarah, who's encouraged her husband to find Emiko, is an occupational therapist. Returning to Japan, I have good news for Emiko. I'm curious to see how she'll react when I tell her that the father she went to Japan to find does not live here.
Cicadas, they sound like an army of weed eaters, don't they?
They're relentless.
Last time I talked to you, we were at a Shinto temple and you said a prayer. Do you remember what you prayed for?
I was praying, you know, in hopes to find my family and it'll work out really well.
Well, I've spoken to your dad, Toshi Hio.
What? Really?
"21-year-old student Emiko is about to find out that I've found her Japanese birth father, but she and her boyfriend Ari have no idea where I've found him.
Well, I've spoken to your dad, Toshi Hio.
What? Really?
And he'd really love to meet you.
Oh, man.
Really? Oh my gosh.
There's a catch, though. He doesn't actually live here in Japan.
Oh, really? Holy moly. In the wrong country.
Damn.
He's in the United States, in Seattle.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Whew.
That's a lot all at once, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy, huh?
So, would you like to go to Seattle to meet your dad?
Really? Wow.
Wow.
Holy moly, that's a crazy opportunity, huh?
Yeah, that's insane. I would love to go.
Of course.
2 weeks later, Emiko and Ari, along with Ariana and her son Tiruki, are in Seattle.
Look at those beautiful flowers up there. They're cool.
Yeah.
For all of them, this is their first time in America. Family in New Zealand have chipped in to make sure Ariana could be here.
I just love my baby. I love my girl, and I wanted to be here to support her. I couldn't let her go through this experience on her own without her whānau.
And this place is so big after Japan, huh? Would you look at that? Gonna grab a Japanese hot dog?
The next day, the moment Emiko has been waiting for has finally arrived.
Just over there by the beach is a slightly older Toshi. Would you like to take your daughter down to meet her dad?
Yes, yeah, I would.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
I feel excited to talk to him and to figure out who he is and learn about him and meet his family. I don't think if I just walked past him that I would recognize him.
I knew kind of one day we're gonna see each other. Now I'm so happy.
Oh, baby, there's your dad.
Yeah, no, that's so weird.
Sorry. See you, baby. I know she was nervous. I could see her twisting her hands behind her back. Wow. Oh my God. But finally gets to see him. I felt proud of him that he came to meet his daughter.
Hi. Hi.
Oh my God, it's your father. Wow.
So, thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
I was overwhelmed. That's just great.
So,
Seeing Toshi Hio talking to Emiko and meeting the rest of my family, Ari and Tiroki. He still looks the same. God, he looks the same. I'd recognise him if I met him in the street.
well, I've kind of hesitate to contact you because I don't know what you're thinking about me. So, and so I'm happy you're doing this.
When we hugged, it was kind of strange, but it was also quite satisfying.
I ain't seen nothing like this before in my life.
Good on him.
Good on her, eh?
Yeah.
Good on you, Mum.
What a woman.
Handsome fella.
Come over, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, wow. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming.
Long time.
Yeah.
This is my boyfriend, Ari.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
This is my son, Tiroki.
Hi.
Emiko's brother.
Nice to meet you. This is a letter you sent me.
Yes, yeah.
Toshi has never stopped thinking about the daughter he had never met.
Oh, so lovely you kept that.
Letters and photos that were sent to him by Ariana have been treasured, but it's taken 2 decades for him to get the Maori translation of Emiko's name.
So this is Emiko. I wrote that okay?
Yeah, that's correct.
And Rearangi means treasure of the day, and Waitapu means sacred water. Yeah, this is Māori.
Oh, cool.
Emiko's 2 families are united. Toshi introduces her and Ariana to his wife Sarah and their baby.
Toshi Hio is he's really great. He's a really nice guy. I was quite nervous the last couple of weeks and the few days that we were here before we met him.
Pretty soon, actually, summer is coming.
But then I can relax now because that's so lovely.
Yeah.
It feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders or something.
After spending a week with her dad, Emiko and Ari returned to Japan. Toshi finally has told his parents about Emiko, and they are keen to meet her. Toshi will do the introduction the next time he's in Japan.
Emiko had a birthday just recently, and he gave her a gift for her birthday. In the card he wrote how he was sorry that he'd missed all those previous years, but now they've got time to create new memories, and brought a tear to my eye.
He's a really great guy and I'm so excited to get to know him more.
Home run.
Nice.
Tonight on Lost and Found. His dad was there when he was born, then vanished.
Such a strong, self-fulfilling dream I've always had to meet my father.
A secret he had to tell his siblings.
That was a bit of a profound moment when I actually told them that I was a half-brother.
What became of his father, the shepherd.
I said, well, I don't know any secrets, do you?
The family conversation that changed her life.
I had no indication whatsoever that I was not his daughter.
Go, 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 go!
Does she know enough to find her birth dad?
Absolutely nothing, just a name. All I've got is a name.
And?
He's pretty much a stranger, which is quite weird, because he's my dad.
Alone with no family around?
The scary part is seeing if he'll actually like me.
If her dad had abandoned her, will he want her back?
That'd be the best thing in the world.
Families that are lost and found.
I couldn't really sort of hide it any longer.
They're always unpredictable.
Oh, no. Oh, that's kind of amazing.
Hi, my name's Jeremy. I'm 42 years old. I'm looking for my biological father, Leith McDonald. He came to my birth when I was born in Gisborne. It's been 42 years of searching to fill that void. I want to meet Leith and share the aspects of my life and my family with him.
A man should never have to go through life not knowing who his father is or even what he looks like. Jeremy Tumuana has a big, colourful family. One brother was in the SAS alongside Willie Apiata, another's a butcher in Gore. One sister is an artist, and one had a big lotto win. And his mother has featured in a few New Zealand movies. All Jeremy knows is that Leith was a shepherd on the East Coast, a man who charmed his mother by bringing 12 sheepdogs when he came into Gisborne from Tokomaru Bay, but also a man who shot through the moment Jeremy was born.
What do you know about your dad? Do you know what he looks like? Have you seen a photograph?
I wouldn't know. What I've really learnt is from what Mum has sort of recalled. She said that I have similarities to him in appearance, but I've never really been able to build a picture or a mental picture of what he may look like.
Jeremy was 11 when a relative told him that the man he called Dad was not his biological father.
I just felt that something just didn't fit, and that connect or that attachment wasn't necessarily there.
When you found out that your dad wasn't in fact your birth dad, was there a sense of betrayal? How did you react?
It was something I had to sort of really deal with myself as a child.
Yep.
Something I sort of kept secret from my own brothers and sisters for quite a while until I felt couldn't really sort of hide it any longer. That was a bit of a profound moment, I guess, for them too, when I actually told them that I was a half-brother, a bit of a shock for them.
What were your feelings towards your birth father when you found out that he existed?
I guess there's mixed feelings towards my father, trying to understand how you could do that to someone, especially being a father myself. I couldn't comprehend not having a relationship with my children.
What will it mean to you to meet your dad?
Something that's just such a strong, self-fulfilling dream I've always had, to meet my father, just to meet and to see him in the flesh.
Jeremy, who is divorced, is a healthcare manager and lives in Wellington, but he's hoping to move back to Christchurch to be closer to his 3 children. I track back through decades of old electoral rolls and find Leith MacDonald in Pongaroa in 1981. But then he disappears. When I check through National Cemetery records, I finally find the answer. He died in 1993, killed while crossing a road. Tragically, the driver was one of his best mates. My next stop is Melbourne. Leith MacDonald's death notice has led me to his 2 daughters, Tanya and Amy. They've both recently moved to Australia, along with their mother, Leith's widow, and Amy's 3 children.
Are you Tanya and Amy?
Yes.
Who's who?
Tanya.
Hello, Tanya.
Nice to meet you.
I'm David, of course.
Thank you.
Grab a seat. So you two have a brother you don't know too much about?
Yes, we do.
Your mum told you about him, but what did she know?
Mum told us about him a few years ago. So we knew we had a half-brother out there, but we just didn't know where or who or anything about him. Yeah. We didn't know where to start looking at all.
She mentioned to Dad a couple of times that he should try contact and find out where he is and stuff like that, and just Dad said he didn't want to disrupt the family or just in case someone else has come and he's got a father or something like that.
So what sort of dad was he?
It's good. Yeah.
He was laid back, easygoing.
A good laugh,
Yeah.
a good sense of humour. He was always joking around with us and stuff, but yeah.
How does it feel to have a brother just pop into your life?
I think, I don't know, because we've lost a brother, Eddie. He passed away about 10 years ago, so I don't know. It's nice to know that he wants to meet.
Well, Jeremy did a video message which he hoped I'd be able to show to your dad, but sadly I can't. Would you two like to see that message?
I'd love to
see what he had to say?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
If you were to just push the button there.
Hi, Leith. My name's Jeremy. I'm your son. We've never actually met, but it means more than the world to me to be able to share some of my life experiences with you and get to meet you and get to know you, and for you to get to know my family, and hopefully for me to be able to meet yours. It would mean more than the world to me to be able to do that. So hopefully we can meet sometime soon and connect and talk about everything that we've been missing out on.
Wow. Looks like Granddad, kind of.
Yeah, he looks like a McDonald.
Definitely does, yeah.
He's actually one of our cousins, actually.
Yeah.
So sadly, your dad won't get to meet him, but would you two be happy to meet him?
Yeah. Yeah, nice to have, yeah, I want to meet him. Yeah.
There's no amount of saying so. You're gonna walk away from me.
Back in New Zealand, I asked Jeremy to meet me in Dannyburg, the area in central Hawke's Bay where his father lived most of his life and where Jeremy spent time at boarding school. He's curious and nervous about why we're meeting here. He's hopeful I've found his dad. Sadly, I have news no one wants to hear. Jeremy Tumuana is looking for his dad, but he died more than 20 years ago. I have, however, found Jeremy's two sisters in Australia. He doesn't know anything of this yet. He's waiting nervously for me in Dannyburg.
Finding your dad's always been very important for you.
It's always a perpetual feeling of just wondering and why and how, and it creates a bit of a void, because there probably wasn't a day or a week that went by without me thinking about that.
You've never seen anything with your dad, not even a photograph?
I've seen nothing in terms of images or anything really.
Well, your dad used to live in this area.
Right.
But I'm very sorry to tell you, he passed away in 1993.
Right. All right. Yeah. No, that's really sad. That's really sad. Yeah. I had a sort of a feeling that may be the case. So, just sort of feel those sort of things. But yeah, I had wondered. Yeah.
I've got you here today because I'd like to show you where he is.
Yeah.
One thing I have for you, though, it's what you'd probably be very interested to see. That's your dad.
Oh, yeah, I see some likeness there. Looks like a bit of a hard man, too.
So that's the first time you've seen anything what he looks like?
Totally. It's amazing. Doesn't look very tall. I'm surprised, really, but yeah, that's... wow. It's incredible.
So if you were happy to, I'd like to show you where he's buried. Pay your respects to him?
Totally, yep. Yeah, no, that'd be great. That means a lot. Mainly because I've just, I did want to meet him and, you know, understand a bit about myself, really. But I still can do that, I think. I just, it's good to sort of be able to connect to where he is, at least.
So, this is where your father's buried. There's one thing I didn't tell you. He did die young because he was killed in a car accident here in Dannyburg. Now, his grave's just over there by the fence line. In 1993, you should be able to find it.
it says I've got brothers and sisters. I see Eddie sadly passed away as well, so it'd be great to meet Tanya and Amy.
I'm very keen to meet you. They both live in Australia now, and one lives in Perth and the other one in Melbourne, and they would love you to come over and talk about your dad, and they've got a lot more photographs I'd love to show you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. Oh, jeepers. I'm just, yeah, overwhelmed, really.
Buried nearby are other members of the MacDonald clan, grandparents Hazel and Donald. Jeremy has always had a good handle on his Maori side. Now he has the information to explore his Scottish heritage. A week later, Jeremy is heading for Melbourne. At 42 years old, it's the first time he's left New Zealand. And it's to meet the sisters. He's only just been told he has.
Yeah, one of the things I didn't tell you in Dannyburg was that your sisters knew about you. Their mother had told them. The mother had actually encouraged your dad to try and find you at one stage, but he didn't want to walk into a family situation and think perhaps that you didn't know about him.
Probably the same way for me. I was a bit hesitant to, if I had found contact, I was wondering whether or not it would be an appropriate thing to do, and yeah, it's always something you wonder about.
Your sisters are very keen to meet you. They've got stories to tell you about your dad. How are you feeling about that?
I can't describe it. It's been 100 miles an hour of emotions, and try not to cry, really.
More than 20 years after his death, Leif MacDonald's 3 surviving children are about to meet for the first time.
I feel so nervous. Still? Yes. Maybe.
Having to tell Jeremy Tumuana that his father had passed away wasn't easy. But now he's about to meet 2 sisters in Australia that he never knew he had.
I feel so nervous. Still? Yes. I know.
If you were to look over your right shoulder and just a few yards down the wharf there, can you see a couple of young ladies? Go and say hello to them.
Oh my God. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, oh wow. Hi. Oh man.
I had to tiptoe.
They're great one again.
Nice to meet you.
Yes. Crikey, you guys are short.
Oh,
isn't it
my It's really nice to meet you. Thanks for finding us.
No, thanks for meeting me. Oh, I'm speechless, actually.
Yeah, same. I don't know what to say, but...
You guys are stunning. You sure you got the right brother? Oh,
how are you?
I'm good. I'm over the moon, actually. I'm just here.
No,
I haven't been sleeping well anyway.
Yeah, neither. It was kind of a bit surreal.
Yeah.
Like, it was quite overwhelming. Just it's busy to know that he's wanted to find us and meet us. So it was kind of quite overwhelming to actually finally meet him. And I was shaking.
My heart was racing. Yeah. I actually stopped breathing for about 5 seconds, I think, at least. And yeah, I was just absolutely stunned by the fact that they were there.
The next day, Jeremy meets again with Tanya and Amy. They were both teenagers when their father passed away.
Yeah, this is how I remember him just before he passed away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was taken quite a while ago, that one.
That was before you were born, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's only young there, eh? He's
Yeah.
25 or something. Knowing that I've had 2 sisters and then meeting them was even better. Yeah, happy to piece that part of my life together. It's a good shot.
And the dogs.
And the dogs, yeah.
Yeah,
that was a station that he worked on.
Okay.
Pongaroa.
Jeremy says meeting his sisters was just as powerful as being at the birth of his children.
That's, oh my God, I can see myself there.
Tanya, Amy and Jeremy have kept in touch. And Jeremy has since met an uncle, Leif McDonald's only surviving brother, who lives in the Hawke's Bay, plus lots of cousins.
Us dad there.
Jeremy never got to meet his dad, but Leif McDonald's family have welcomed him home.
That looks more like Kate. It's great to know that I come from a father that loved his children and he cared. So a new journey begins, really, a new chapter in the book for me.
Hi, my name is Debbie, and it was about 4 to 5 months ago that I found out that my dad was not my biological dad. It is a mystery, it was a family secret, and I want to find out who my birth dad is. Good pulse. Yes, good girl, go, 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 go. Clever.
Debbie Shute is a 46-year-old property manager from Wellington.
Come here, tap, tap.
She has a 16-year-old son, Trent,
Here, tap,
and is a keen dog lover.
Yeah. Tunnel, 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 tunnel.
In her spare time, she travels New Zealand, entering dog trials.
Here, here. Wait, sit.
Debbie grew up in Whanganui. It was a very happy childhood with a mum and dad who clearly loved each other and 2 siblings. But recently, Debbie discovered there was a family secret that she knew nothing about. That's because the secret was her.
So how did you discover that your dad wasn't your birth dad?
It was about 4 to 5 months ago I got a call from my sister, and apparently my sister had known for a few months. Dad had told her. She went along the lines about secrets in the family. I said, well, I don't know any secrets, do you? And she goes, well, you must know the one that, you know, you are. You're not Dad, you were adopted. And I said, no, I didn't know that.
And at that moment, what did you think?
I think it was a shock to her to find out that I didn't actually know either. She felt pretty bad about that.
Your mum never told you. Why do you think she kept such a big secret?
I dare say my mum had her reasons. It was a long time ago. Dad took her in and Dad raised me as his own. So she would have thought, why do I need to change that? I do remember one time making a comment, man, imagine if you found out that you weren't who you really were. And she never said anything at the time. I remember saying, her being there and didn't see any different looks or anything like that. So it was really sad, of course, when she passed. She was quite content to take that secret with her when she left.
Debbie's mum, Christine, left home at 16 and moved to Greymouth. She fell in love with a man who was a few years older than her. Then she found out she was pregnant, and rather than give her baby up for adoption, she moved to live with an uncle in the North Island. Soon after, she met and married the man who would take her in and raise her baby Debbie like his own.
It's a pretty major thing what your dad did.
I think, if anything, I cried and said, well, I love you more than ever for what you did. Good on you. Had no indication whatsoever that I was not his daughter. Same with his mum and dad. They were the best grandparents ever. They always treated us equally the same. If anything, I thought I was the favourite one of the family.
So what do you know about this other guy?
The other guy, my biological father. Absolutely nothing, just a name. All I've got is a name.
Ian Dumbleton, a Wellington bank manager, is Debbie's husband. He was right by Debbie's side as she dealt with the overwhelming news that her dad was not her birth father.
It was definitely a shock, because it must be very difficult finding out that the father who's brought you up isn't actually your real father, per se. But I think it'd be fantastic for her to find her birth dad. I think she does want to know exactly where she's come from, why she is the person she is today.
So, with her mother now gone, and her dad, who legally adopted her and whose name is on her birth certificate, now not in the best of health, she's ready to find her biological father.
I am his daughter. It'd be nice to find out, well, I know who I am, but find out what kind of person he is. And if I leave it for another 10 or 20 years, then I'm allowed to say, oh, you know, why didn't I? And it is curiosity. I do want to know who my biological dad is.
I discover in birth records that Debbie's father's full name is Raymond Patrick Twist. Then, on New Zealand electoral rolls, I find him living in Auckland in the early 1980s. On Terranet, he once owned property in Auckland, but there's also a reference to a property in Christchurch. Then, in the White Pages, I find a phone number.
Oh, hi, Ray. Look, my name's David Lomas, and I'm ringing on behalf of the woman who I believe is your daughter, Debbie. Did you know anything of her?
Quite surprising for you to say that. Yeah, no, I've always sort of wondered. It's always crossed my mind.
Well, look, Debbie's done a video message which she'd like me to show to you. I was wondering if it's possible to meet you?
Ray tells me he spent his working life as a butcher. He and his wife Carol have 3 sons. They lived in Auckland for 40 years before moving south to Canterbury to be closer to their grandchildren. Property manager Debbie Shute has just found out that the man she calls Dad is not actually her father. I've traced her biological father, and I'm about to find out if he'll meet his daughter.
Hello.
I'm after Ray.
Yes, you're from Auckland, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in, he's waiting for you.
Oh, that's good. Lovely day, isn't it?
It is, it's a beautiful day today. Ray?
You must be Ray.
Yes, pleased to meet you.
I'm David. Hi.
Hi.
So, 46 years later, things catching up a little bit. What happened?
Yeah, it was a little bit. I thought I sort of had to soon catch up with me sooner or later.
Carol, you're sitting here, so you obviously know about Debbie.
I've always known about Debbie.
Yeah.
But it was a subject we weren't allowed to talk about.
Oh, you know, I've always sort of felt myself, well, if she ever wants to know, she'll come and get in touch with me, sort of thing. I didn't really want to, after so many years, didn't really sort of want to ruin her life. And
so, did you ever see Debbie?
I've never seen her, but I've had a photo of her when she was 10 months old.
Do you still have her?
Yeah, I've had it all these years, yeah.
Would you like to see her?
I'd love to see her.
If you were just to push that button, the woman talking to you, that's Debbie.
Wow.
Hi, Ray. Hopefully you are watching this. My name is Debbie, and I am your daughter. I only found out about 4 to 5 months ago, so it's a real mystery to me. It's probably come as a shock to you. I'm not sure what you know, but I am here because I would really like to meet you, and hopefully you would like to meet me too.
Yeah, she's a very attractive girl.
She is, actually. She's
Sounds
actually
very nice.
looking younger than what I imagined.
Yeah.
So how does it feel that Debbie's potentially popped into your life now?
Very interesting, and yeah, no, she's looking real well.
So the big question, would you be happy to meet her?
Yes.
I'd love to meet her.
I'd love to meet her, yeah.
Debbie, back in Wellington, is waiting anxiously. She doesn't know I've found her birth father.
Well, I've met a man in a place called Loburn, which is just north of Christchurch, and his name's Ray.
Oh, you did? I went, oh, that is great. You told me you were going down there, but I had no idea you were going to meet anyone.
He's a very nice chap, and him and his wife, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a little photograph of you in his house.
Oh, does he really?
Mm.
Oh, no. Oh, that's quite amazing.
He said he'd thought about trying to find you, but was a bit worried that he'd cause a bit of chaos walking into your life.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's so exciting. That is really great news. I never thought that would happen so quickly. Trent? What? Trent, did you hear that?
Yeah, what?
That's so exciting. I don't know what to say. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
David was in Christchurch yesterday and met my birth dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I know. It had been that quick. Oh, no. Oh, that's fantastic. Wow.
So, would you like to meet him?
Definitely.
Another interesting thing he told me, which will intrigue you, that after your mum got pregnant and you were born, that she actually stayed with his parents for quite a few months after you were born, and they helped look after you.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fantastic, yeah. Yeah, well, they would have been very sad then not to see me grow up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems like when your mum must have hooked up with your dad, that the cut was made then.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fantastic. Has he got children himself?
He's got 3 boys, and
Oh, God.
one in Melbourne, one in Christchurch, and
Oh, wow.
one in Dunedin.
Wow. That's very amazing, yes.
Debbie has just a few days until she heads south.
I'm going to clean your room, so this will be the 5th time I've asked you. And this...
Yep, totally.
Okay, well, it'll be good.
She's off to meet the father she never knew existed until just a few months ago. Ray, along with Carol, is waiting in Canterbury.
And the idea of meeting Debbie, I mean, you're a bit old to get a new daughter, really, aren't you?
Yeah, well, that's a point. Well, sounds like Debbie's quite keen, so yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it.
You must be starting to feel a bit nervous about all this.
Nervous and excited. Yeah.
Have you thought about your dad, Ray, what he looks like, what sort of person he is?
No, just wanting to find out. And I'm so pleased that he wants to meet me. That's just so good after all this time. Now I'm going to cry.
Can you see that man on the bridge there?
Oh, yes.
That's your dad, and
Oh, wow.
that's his wife, Carol.
Okay. I was just excited and I felt overwhelmed. Tears were coming to my eyes.
That's like hearing.
Hi, Ray, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Debbie.
Carol. Hi, Carol. Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
You do look like your mother.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
Like to say that.
Yeah. Well, I said, really, Debbie. It was hard to believe, sort of, after so many years, to sort of see what she really looked like. Yeah.
No idea.
Didn't you?
No idea. It feels really weird. It feels different. It still feels like it's not real. And considering I didn't know anything about it 6 months ago.
Yeah, no, sorry about all that.
I don't need to apologise.
It's one of these things.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Debbie lived almost her whole life not knowing about her birth father. But later, Ray is keen to show Debbie he never forgot her.
Yeah, Debbie, this is a photo of you when you were 10 weeks old.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's
My mother
amazing.
gave that to me when she went to Wellington.
Wow, that's so special and you've kept it all this time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, he's just a lovely man. He's delightful. Certainly go back and go over 47 years, really, of what's happened.
And that's a photo, I think it's around about the time when I was taking your mother out.
Oh, wow, look at those sideburns there. I can see why. Very handsome, isn't he?
She's lovely. Yeah, it's going to be nice to have her as part of our family. I'd like to meet her dad as well, because I think they've done a great job of bringing her up, and she's a good independent woman. Great to see.
Yeah, I'd like to thank her father very much.
Debbie is in regular contact with Carol and Ray. They have been to Wellington to stay and to meet her family.
I think it's still sinking in, but it's absolutely delightful, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds for all of us.
Hi, my name's Peter Warden, and I'm looking for my dad, Wayne Warden. It would mean the world to me because I don't have any family support, and I want to learn about my family history, see if he's like me. If you could please help me find my dad.
21-year-old Perry Worden works as a call centre operator in Auckland. She was born in Australia but knows nothing of her parents' relationship. When Perry was a baby, her mother left Perth and her marriage and returned to New Zealand. It seems her dad just lost contact.
Mostly, I think that he may have just given up being, you know, away from Australia into New Zealand. And I think that's why I really want to get to know him. So I just want to know what his story is, and if he did abandon me, why?
Perry had a tough upbringing. Her mother struggled to look after her, and as a youngster, Perry was placed into social welfare care. Later, when she was 14, her mum suffered a severe stroke. Perry has since become estranged from her mother's family, leaving her feeling isolated and alone.
It can get hard. Like, I have amazing friends, but I just want an actual family member.
Would it be good to find your dad?
It would be the best thing in the world.
The way she walking in the hills got me feeling daydreaming tonight.
Perry loves her art. One day, she hopes to be a marine biologist.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
No one understands what Perry's been through in her life as much as her best friend and flatmate, Tamara Tauroa.
It's been a struggle. She won't admit it, but I don't think she knows where home is because there's always been a part.
It's kind of missing.
Yeah, that's missing. So I think by finding her dad, might be able to help her find home.
I think this thing I'm most scared of is actually meeting him, and you know, if he has passed away, that's such an easy thing to kind of get on with because I didn't meet him, so I don't have anything to kind of mourn over. He's like pretty much a stranger to me at the end of the day, which is quite weird because he's my dad. So.
I begin my search for Wayne Worden on the assumption that, if he's alive, he's probably still in Australia. The family was living in Perth when Perry was born.
Oh, hello. I was trying to track down a Wayne Worden. Not you?
Not having much luck, I changed tack, and I managed to find a Wayne Worden linked to a primary school in a town near Adelaide.
Oh, hello. Is that the principal of Fraser Park School?
Yes, speaking.
She confirms I have the right Wayne Worden.
Yeah, Wayne's talked a lot about Perry over the years.
Okay. Is there any way I could perhaps get hold of a number for Wayne?
I'm off to South Australia, heading east from Adelaide to a place called Murray Bridge on the banks of the Murray River. Wayne may not want to hear from Perry. I need to arrange to meet him face to face and find out.
Wayne speaking.
21-year-old Perry Worden wants to know why her dad's never been in touch. Perry has close friends, but no family around her. I've just found a dad living in South Australia.
Wayne speaking.
Oh, hi, Wayne. My name's David Lomas, and I'm from New Zealand.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Wayne. Hey, look, I'm in Murray Bridge, and your daughter, Perry, is wondering why you've never contacted her.
Look, I have not seen Perry since she was 6 months old. Is she okay?
Yes, she's good, but her life's been pretty tough, and what she really can't understand is why you never tried to find her.
I've been looking for a long time now.
Well, Perry's made a video message which she wants me to show to you. Would you be happy to see that?
Hang on, please. Yes, I would.
Wayne agrees to meet. He's a solo dad who works as a carer for special needs children. He brings his 16-year-old son, Dallin.
You Wayne?
Yes. Hi, how are you? It's my son.
Must be Dallin, I've heard.
Wayne's relationship with Dallin's mother ended when the boy was just 3 months old. Wayne then raised him alone.
Now, your daughter's looking for you.
Yeah, it was a shock.
So, how did it come to this?
She went to New Zealand when she was like 6, 7 months old with her mother. So, long story short, the plan was for me to go over there and meet up with Perry and Kim.
Why didn't you go?
Finances, work, not enough money. But, yeah, it never eventuated at all.
Wayne tried to find Perry, searching the white pages, talking to government agencies. He was appalled and frustrated by what he discovered.
I found out through the welfare system here that Perry was in a home, foster home. And I went, well, why? Why wasn't I informed? Well, we were told that you were no longer around.
Wayne's inquiries just brought him up against a brick wall.
I mean, I would have supported my daughter. I would have been there for her.
What about Dallin? Did you ever tell him about Perry?
I told him he had a sister.
Yeah, I've known since as long as I could remember. So, you know, I haven't known really anything other than her name.
So what do you remember of the little Perry when she was just a baby?
The smiles.
Would you like to see what your girl looks like?
I'd love to see Perry.
So if you were to push that button.
Hi Dad, if you're watching this means that they've found you, which is great. I've done this because I've been thinking about you a lot and I've always wanted to meet you. And I was just wondering if you've ever tried to find me or if you think about me very often. So I think it would be really nice to meet you if you'd like to meet me. Thank you.
Wow, my little girl. When Perry left, with her mum, it was... Sorry. It was very hard. Yeah, she's definitely grown up.
So the big question is, would you be happy if we bring Perry here to Murray Bridge?
Oh, I'll be wrapped.
It's time to update Perry back in Auckland. She's waiting with her good friend, Tamara Tauroa. Well, I've been to Australia, to a place just near Adelaide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah?
And I found your father.
Oh my goodness. What? Really? Oh my gosh, that is so weird.
And he cried when I said you were looking for him.
Oh my gosh.
He'd tried to find you.
He didn't stop thinking about you. I know. Oh my gosh.
So, do you think you'd like to go to Murray Bridge?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, what? That is crazy.
A week later, Perry is back in the land of her birth. It's a nerve-wracking time waiting to meet Wayne, who is still a mystery to her, the father who last saw her 20 years ago. How are you feeling?
Really scared. I'm nervous, excited. Not in a bad way, just nervous to meet him and see what he thinks of me and...
Well, if you walk down this path here, and down there on a pontoon, there'd be a chap waiting.
Woo.
That's your dad.
Just down. No?
He'd be the guy standing there waiting.
It was really scary. Just had a lot of emotions and I didn't know how it was going to go from there.
A lot of thoughts going through my mind. Is she going to accept me?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Peter.
Hi, how are you? I'm choking. Yeah, the emotions are just going so fast. I'm making me cry now.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
I guess it was just a lot of emotions that I had bottled up, kind of just bursting out. I kind of knew that he was my dad, even though it was the first time meeting him.
I don't want to lose you anymore. From seeing her when she was so tiny to now was amazing. She's grown up such a very nice girl. I've got another surprise for you later on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you can come for a drive my ute.
Yeah.
You'll notice my ute, it's pretty bright.
What colour is it?
It's yellow. Yeah.
And what type of ute?
It's a Ford.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good reason for the ride. Perry doesn't know she has an Australian brother.
I've got someone I want you to meet.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
Yes. Dallin. You home, Dallin? Yeah. Come on, mate. I want someone to meet you. I'd like to come meet your sister. This is Perry, this is Dallin.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to finally meet you.
I've told him a little
I kind of just found out about you. But
I told him a little bit about you a long time ago, and I keep telling him all the time. And he's been really excited. Yeah. Now we're family.
So I met my brother. He's a cool little dude, cool personality, so I'm stoked.
Perry always had a hunch that her dad would love animals.
See?
What the hell are you saying?
See? Oh, yeah! Soot! Yeah, he gets New Zealand and Australian.
It doesn't matter whether she's a Kiwi or an Aussie. She's my Belle. Exactly what it means.
I feel like I can call him Dad without it being weird or awkward. It's like my safe haven here, somewhere I can come to. Come on!
Perry is in regular contact with her new family and plans to visit again soon. Tonight on Lost and Found.
I at that time didn't think it was parting forever.
The teenage daughter who vanished.
I'm longing to see my daughter. That's what drives me at the moment.
Why has he left it so long?
When you make a commitment, you stick with it.
Her dad left when she was born.
Was I not good enough? What did he even know about me?
The challenge that prompted her search.
It changed life drastically because I thought I was going to die.
Is there any hope of reconnecting?
Would he want me in his life? I need to find out from him.
And?
I'm predicting that he's tall and good looking.
He's never met his father.
Just had to cope with it.
His mum's keen to help.
Anthony has got my whole support. I'm right there behind him.
Families that are lost and found. Oh. They're always unpredictable.
You're joking.
I'm Kees Vandenbos. I'm looking for my daughter Carolina, who is now 57 years old, and I haven't seen her since 1973. And I'd love to see her again before I pass away.
When time is running out, the things we place on bucket lists gain even more significance. Kees Vandenbosch is a retired engineer. Born in Holland, he moved to New Zealand in his early 20s with his fiancée, Tina, at a time when New Zealand was looking for skilled workers.
Go on.
Life was turning out rosy. Just 3 weeks after arriving, they married, and 9 months later, baby Carolina was born.
Carolina was a very vivacious girl, and we had a very close relationship as father and daughter.
After 16 happy years in New Zealand, Kees came home one day to discover his wife was having an affair. The marriage ended instantly. Kees went on to marry his current wife, while his ex-wife returned to Holland, taking teenage daughter Carolina with her.
I said to her on my last talk to her, "You're going with Mum to Holland, but don't forget I'm here." I at that time didn't think it was parting forever, because she loved New Zealand. She was a real outdoors girl.
Why wouldn't you keep in touch?
I thought she would open the conversation by contacting me. She knew where I was, and that's what I told her.
41 years, and you haven't looked for her?
No, I you know, I'm very high principled on issues of when you make a commitment, you stick with it.
But that's pretty harsh. I mean, you're her dad, and in your heart, do you cry for her?
The way I express love is probably not the run-of-the-mill stuff, you know. I'm longing to see my daughter. That's what drives me at the moment.
Case has just turned 80. He lives in a retirement village in Pakuranga. With not a lot of time left, he wants to find his only child, Carolina, who he last saw when she was 17.
I have missed her immensely over the years, hoping that she would come back to me.
I know that Carolina travelled back to Holland with her mum, Tina, in 1973 on a New Zealand passport, but by now Carolina could be anywhere. It's likely that she's married and changed her name. So I focus on Tina, and I find her sister under the name Wismeyer, living in Australia.
Hello?
Look, I'm trying to find a woman called Tina Vandenbosch or Tina Wismeyer.
Pardon? Tina van der Bosch?
Yes.
Yeah. Tina, she died, actually.
It's a shock hearing that Tina has passed away. She was my big hope for finding Carolina. But the family give me a number for an uncle living in Holland who may know something.
Look, I'm ringing from New Zealand, but I understand Tina died, but you don't know what happened to her daughter, Carolina, do you?
I have a telephone number from my sister Tina.
She's alive?
Yeah?
So Tina is not dead after all. I arrange for Tina to pass my number on to Carolina, who later calls and says she's happy to meet. With that, it's time to visit the Netherlands. I'm heading for Almere, near Amsterdam, where Carolina lives. After working for a Dutch bank, she's now retired. She's told me that not only was she an only child, but now divorced, she had no children of her own. She's intimated to me that she has reservations about meeting her dad.
Are you Carolina?
Yes, I am.
Come inside. So what happened? Why are you and your dad not in contact?
He said to me he was starting a new life and he was closing the door on his past. And I informed him, I am part of your past. You're closing the door, you'll have to open it. And that's the last time I saw my father.
He believed it was up to you to contact him.
He possibly doesn't remember that he said that he closed the door on his past. He possibly doesn't remember that, but I do.
I suppose you're a lot like him, two stubborn people.
Well, I don't know if you'd call it stubborn, but acceptance of somebody else's wishes. I don't think he realised what an impact that statement had on me.
As I mentioned on the phone, Case has done a video message. Would you like to see it?
Of course, definitely.
So if you were to push that button there, that's your dad talking to you.
Dear Carolina.
Wow.
I love to see you again. It's been 41 years when you parted from my life, and I would like you to consider that I might not be around for very much longer. And before that happens, please contact me. It has all been my fault. I should have made this plea much earlier. But please, please come and see me.
Wow. Whoa. He's changed a lot. He really is an old man.
I think he had to eat a lot of humble pie to do that message.
Yes, definitely, definitely. He has swallowed his pride, yes. He was also very proud in old school, and he brought me up the same way. And that's had consequences for our relationship.
So I can go back to New Zealand and tell him that you're happy to meet him?
80-year-old Kees Vandenbosch last saw his daughter, Carolina, as a teenager. I've located her in Holland, but after 40 years apart, can the father-daughter bond be repaired?
So I can go back to New Zealand and tell him that you're happy to meet him?
Very definitely, very definitely. I will meet him, yes.
He'll be pleased to hear that.
And now he's opened the door, or as far as I'm concerned, this is kicking it in, not just opening it. So I keep to my word, and I'm willing to see him.
Having now met both father and daughter, it's incredible how similar their characters are, both waiting for the other to make contact. But after 4 decades, Kees blinked first.
Finding your daughter will mean a lot to you.
There's hardly a day goes by that I don't think of her and wish I had her near me. I actually got a picture of her here. She's 57 now. I could be a grandfather.
When you look at the photo, what do you think?
Why aren't you close to me? How can I find you? Yeah.
Well, I met a woman in Holland recently.
Yeah.
She's 57 years old.
You did?
And she asked me to tell her father that she loved him.
Tell me about her, please.
She would like you to go to Holland and meet her. The first time I met you and talked to you, you said you weren't a man to show emotion.
You've made my day. Oh. Oh, Lord. What a day. Thank you very much.
Kees now heads for Amsterdam. He's only been back to Holland once since he left for New Zealand in 1956 to begin a new life. It's a bittersweet homecoming. The ghosts of war are still embedded in his memory. Born to a Jewish mother and a Russian father, Kees was only 6 and his brother 7 when the Germans occupied Amsterdam in World War II. Their mother and a baby sister went underground and their father fled to Russia. To survive the harshness of war, the young Kees developed a thick skin.
During the war, my brother and I lived for 3.5 years on the streets of Amsterdam. We got pretty good at stealing coals from the railway yards and bargaining for bread and butter for that. That's how we survived. We slept under bridges. Now, this is one of the bridges I slept under. And there was in there a green area where they grew shrubs. We hid all our belongings in the shrubs. Well, we used to sleep here, and we made this our headquarters, you know.
So you were 7 and 8 years old?
That's right. It was summertime, luckily. It wasn't winter, but as children, you don't think about that the hardship you have, you just live through it because you have to, you know?
Near the end of the war, Case was placed with relatives. He went on to become a ship's engineer. He saw his mother occasionally, but his father stayed in Russia for more than 30 years. Carolina has arrived to meet her father. I'm nervous about how this reunion will go. Will the apparent goodwill on both sides prevail over the 40 years of stubbornness? Have you thought about what you'll say to Carolina? Are you going to give her a hug?
Yeah, that's what I want to do, and really tell her how much I've missed her.
Well, if you were to look over your left shoulder, see that lady there?
Oh, she's grey.
Go and say hello to your daughter.
Oh. Oh, gosh. Oh. Wow.
Hi.
Oh, lovely. You look pretty.
Thank you very much.
Oh. 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 What a lovely day this is going to be. Oh.
To all of a sudden see him 38 years older than the last time I saw him, it was a shock to the system.
I was thinking, does he still love me? I have disappointed you, haven't I, in my life?
A bit, yeah.
When you went away with your mother and I saw you walking out of my life, I said to you that time, didn't I, always be there?
No, you said you shut the door on your past.
Yeah, on my marriage, but not on you.
No. You said you shut your door on the past. You shut the door on your past. And I told you I was on the other side of that door and you would have to open it. Maybe you don't remember that, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd been looking forward to this moment so long. She's more than I expected, actually.
Next day, Case and Carolina meet again. They have many years to catch up on.
I've only seen this as a picture in the Rijksmuseum. I feel emotionally fulfilled. The purpose of my visit was totally centered on my daughter. And having spent a day with her, I'm looking forward to the future because there is a future with her rather than without her. My mother has embroidered this for me. It's hanging in my home. I'm very happy that he has found me again. So it's really been a roller coaster of emotions, and still is, because we've got so much to talk about. Yeah, now, what was on
Case also had a second surprise while in Holland. He met his sister he had not seen for 74 years. A month later, I get a phone call from Carolina. Case had stayed on in Holland, and things have turned bad.
I should have kept my side of the door slammed shut and thrown away the key.
So it must be very disappointing to...
I've asked him 2 or 3 times to leave us alone.
So Case now to you is what?
Nothing.
Case says while there have been misunderstandings, he's still hopeful for a long-term relationship with Carolina.
My name is Reihana Apini, and I'm looking for my real father. This is gonna hurt real bad, it's gonna hurt real bad now. I hope he wants to get to know me. I had a major health scare last year, and I made a bucket list. One major one was to find my father. Please help me.
Reihana Apini is a 32-year-old single mother who lives in Lower Hutt.
What did you want for dinner tonight?
She has a 12-year-old son, Khan.
Eggs. You like your eggs, eh?
Yeah.
I do. Because you look like one. You are one.
Reihana is a former lifeguard and has led a very active life. Her birth father saw her as a baby, but then vanished. Reihana believes she knows why.
I believe he left me from what I was told. I wasn't born a boy, but however I grew up being a tomboy. I grew up with 5 cousins. I was treated as one of the boys, so I got dirty and I did all the yucky things, but I always sort of thought, why did you leave? Why weren't you there? Would he want me in his life?
Reihana's mum, Marianne, was at high school when she first met Gary Pratt. They became a couple, but never married. Soon after Marianne gave birth to Reihana, Gary shot through, possibly home to Wairoa or further up the east coast. Reihana has never seen her dad. She was raised by her mother and her grandparents and says she always felt different. She didn't know what to think about Gary.
I did have a lot of anger towards my birth father, but when you're young, you don't sort of know like why. Was I not good enough? Did he even know about me? And later life, I actually thought, okay, no, I need to find out from him.
Over the years, she picked up fragments of information about her birth father.
As far as I know, he was a really good rugby player and an excellent guitar player. Quite into his music, and apparently looks a lot like me.
6, 7. Oh, lucky.
Reihana's son, Khan, is growing up fast.
I don't think I've got $600.
Show me the money.
And she wants to be able to share with him their Maori heritage.
Another house, please.
I was quite into kapahaka growing up, but not really now. The Māori culture is quite dwindling.
She had some compelling motivation to find Gary and to discover his cultural background. A year ago, a routine health check unveiled some chilling news.
The big C word came out, cervical cancer. That is a do or die, life or death situation. It changed life drastically because I thought I was going to die.
Reihana was forced to re-examine what was important in her life, and she drew up a plan for her future.
The top thing was to actually live life again, starting with finding who I am, finding where I come from, who I come from.
Your dad was part of that?
Yes, finding my dad would be a great start to finishing up my bucket list.
I start my search calling all the Gary Pratts in the white pages.
You're not a Gary Pratt who was born in Wairoa and used to live in Featherston, are you?
But when this proves fruitless,
not you,
I look elsewhere. On old friends, there is what seems a promising lead. A Gary Pratt who teaches kapahaka, and I managed to trace his phone number. Former lifeguard Reihana Apanis had a recent health scare. It's pushed her to get help to find the dad who left when she was born.
Oh, hello, is that Gary Pratt?
Yes.
Gary, were you by chance from the Wairarapa at one stage?
Long time ago, yes.
Well, look, my name is David Lomas, and a young woman has asked me to help find you.
Okay.
Could you have fathered a child when you were living in Featherston?
No.
Well, she believes she's your daughter.
No.
In spite of his denials, Gary Pratt agrees to meet. I'm heading to a quiet Auckland beach, where I'm hoping he will show up. Well, you must be Gary.
Kia ora.
I'm David.
Kia ora.
Hi.
Kia ora, David.
So, you didn't know about Reihana?
No. But a year or two before my sister, who was killed in an accident in 2011, she did mention something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And that's the first time you knew you had...
just never really followed that up.
And how was that?
I don't know. I was okay with it, yeah. Because I've already got children, and yeah, my girls, they also.
Oh, so you didn't run away when they...
No. And because my Māori tanga, where I learned from my uncles from Tūhoi, from Wakarimona and Ruatahunga. In Māori, we say kei te tū ahau. I raro I te mana a te wahine. Stand behind the mana or the power of the female. because of the first thing you hear when you go into a marae.
Because she's always believed that you had disappeared because you wanted a son. Is that true, or?
Not that I know. Yeah. No, I ended up where I was working, at the back of Rekatahuna.
Yeah.
And then I ended up heading back home to the East Coast. Yeah, just ended up in the bush, shepherding and hunting.
Well, Reihana's heard all her life that the one thing she's been told is she looks like you.
Oh, wow.
So would you like to see her?
Yes, please. Thanks.
So, if you were to push that button there, that's your girl talking to you.
Hi, I'm Reihana. I'm your daughter, and I'm 32, single solo mum of a one huge boy. I've had bad health, and last year made me make a bucket list. I'd really like to meet you because you've always been in my mind, you've always been in my dreams, and I'd like to meet you, please.
Awesome.
She your girl?
Aye.
Do your other children, how will they be having another sister arrive?
Well, they'll be okay. They'll be okay.
So I can tell Reihana that her dad wants to know her?
Yes, please. Hare ko kei roto I taku nei manawa. Happy in here.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You got another daughter.
Kia ora. Thank you.
Gary teaches kapahaka at a number of Auckland secondary schools. Gary is of Ngāti Kahungunu and is deeply embedded in Maori culture, which will be a revelation for Reihana, answering the many questions she has about his heritage.
Yeah, there it is. Stop.
Incredibly, he keeps a home in the Hutt Valley, not far from Reihana.
Boys, you gotta do that.
He has 8 children, ranging in age from 8 to 30. They live in different parts of New Zealand. I'm leaving Gary to continue his work in Auckland. It's time to update Reihana back in Wellington.
So your mother and your grandparents, how are they about you looking for Gary?
They've said that it's my decision. They'll be there for me in spirit.
You thought about what would happen if he rejected you and if we found him and he said, nah?
Well, a decision, yes or no, rejection or getting to know me, it's still something. I would be upset, but that's his decision and I'll respect that.
Well, I met a man in Auckland the other day. He looks just like you.
Oh, wow.
He's your dad. And he wants to meet you.
Really? Ooh. You're joking.
No.
You're not joking. Oh, well, that's pretty awesome. Oh, I'm glad I don't have makeup on because I'm going to start crying. Wow, I'd happily meet him, please. Bit speechless, actually. Oh, no, that's cool. That's awesome.
It's time to bring father and daughter together. Gary and his family have been preparing.
This morning we had a karakia at the whare, at the house, and yeah, all the boys did their karakia, and I finished it off. And then, yeah, we all just, how do you feel? And all of us, we're just all excited. Yeah, full of aroha. Yeah, love, eh? Full of love.
It's been one heck of a journey for you. In a few minutes, you're going to meet your dad. How are you feeling about it all?
I am quite nervous. I'm sort of having a bit of a witty, shaking of the hands, or witty, as you would sort of say in Māori terms. So, yeah, shaking in my boots.
Well, you're not just going to meet your dad today. Your brothers have turned up too.
three of them, they heard about it and they got on the bus and they came down from Gisborne overnight just to be here to say hello to you.
It's really cool, man. It's awesome.
So if you were, see that door over there? Single mum Reihana Apani grew up without her dad. Now she's about to meet him for the first time.
It's really cool, man. It's awesome.
So if you were, see that door over there? If you were to go and open that door, the man inside waiting to see you is your dad.
Okay.
And I think they've got something special to welcome you.
Oh.
Off you go.
Off we go. Walking across, I was like, what am I going to see, you know? I was thinking, have they got a feed for me? And then all the emotions just took over. Oh, I fucked up my glasses.
Go the way.
Seeing him for the first time was overwhelming. It was like looking at myself. I do look like you.
Handsome, mate? Handsome?
Pretty handsome. When I saw the haka, I did not expect that. I was like the queen, like, oh, I'm the Māori queen here, and I've never had a pōhiri like that. Any kind of a welcome. Oh, I'm blind as a bat without my glasses.
Okay, the boy. So is he. That's your brother.
Yeah, I'll leave
the
the
way. Te Niarangi. Come on. Yeah, that was... Yeah, it was beautiful. Very touching. I think both sides, eh? Because her heart was just boom, 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 pounding like anything. Yeah. Manaki, tangata.
Oh, I'll keep having the hugs if I can. And I will have all the hugs. Make up for lost time.
Absolutely amazing. The boys are so touched in their manawa, in their hearts. So I'll just embrace her with all my aroha, because that's how I like to be.
So, who are you to her now?
To Reihana?
Yeah.
Oh, tōna papa, her dad.
Yeah, and this is me and my boy, Khan.
He is a big boy.
He is a big boy, yeah. My soul is settled. Well, actually, it's a bit up in emotions and very high, but she is settling and really good. Good year.
Gary has a big tour planned for Reihana, visiting his marae at Waikari Moana, Te Tihoi, Te Whana Apani, and where his dad's from.
I'm Anthony Jones, I'm 29, and I'm looking for my biological father, Jeffrey Clay. I've never seen him, and I want to find him and meet him so I can fill this dark hole inside of me and just know where I actually really come from.
Anthony Jones is a father of 4 who spent his whole life on the West Coast. He works in forestry. Anthony was raised by his mother and his stepdad, both West Coast farmers. Anthony has always wondered who his birth dad is and what he looks like.
I'm predicting that he's tall and fairly big and good looking.
In what ways do you think you're like your dad?
Definitely love the woman.
Anthony's mother, Pauline, met Jeffrey Clay while working in a Wellington bar when she was 21. They had a brief but happy relationship. Pauline says that ended when Jeff met another woman, about the time Pauline found she was pregnant. A short time after Anthony was born, Pauline met her husband, the man who would raise Anthony, along with 5 other children he and Pauline had together.
When did you find out that the man who was raising you wasn't your natural father?
When I was younger, and I tried to call him Dad, and he just didn't like it. And then got 5 younger brothers and sisters, and they all called him Dad because they knew he was his dad.
Were you happy with your dad, your stepdad?
Yep. He showed me lots of things, how to fish, how to ride a bike. Definitely a good man, and grateful for having him there in my life.
But there must have been a loneliness being the only one who didn't call him Dad.
It was definitely hard, but just had to deal with it and cope with it. Yeah. Just, why would my father give up? I couldn't do that.
Anthony has a partner he plans to marry, and they have 4 children. He's close with his mum, Pauline.
Look at me.
Came out a cutie, all right?
You reckon?
Pauline has told him everything she knows about his biological father.
Anthony has got my whole support for wanting to meet his dad, no matter how or which way he was going to do it. I'm right there behind him, right there.
My search for Jeff Clay is difficult, but I get a breakthrough when Pauline remembers the names of Jeff's parents in Wellington. Through them, I discover that their son moved to Australia soon after the birth of Anthony. They were sad to lose contact with Anthony and are happy to give me Jeff's number. It turns out Jeff has been in Sydney for the whole of Anthony's life, so that's where I'm heading.
Hello, is that Jeff Clay?
Speaking.
Oh, hi, Jeff. My name's David Lomas, and a man called Anthony is trying to get hold of you. Does that make any sense?
I've just found, in Sydney, the father of forestry worker Anthony Jones. Will he want to meet the son he left behind?
Hello, is that Jeff Clay?
Speaking.
Oh, hi, Jeff. My name's David Lomas, and a man called Anthony is trying to get hold of you. Does that make any sense?
Sounds a bit strange, but it could be my son.
Anthony has asked me to show you a video message. I was wondering if you'd be happy to meet me.
Yeah, but nothing bad, is it? Or it's all good?
No, he's fine, but if I could show you this video message, it would explain everything, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to find out more.
Jeff Clay lives in Manly. He agrees to meet me down by the ferry wharf.
You're not by chance Jeff, are you?
David?
Nice to meet you. Thank you
Nice
for coming
to meet you.
down.
No problem.
Grab a seat.
Thank you.
So, you're probably wondering what exactly all this is about, but how did you and Anthony come to be separated?
I knew she was pregnant before I came over, but I actually didn't know I had a son until I got, until I got the phone call to be confirmed it, when she sort of tracked me down where I was working.
Why did you not stay in touch, keep in contact?
I tried. We were going to get back together.
Jeff tells me that after Anthony was born, he tried to reconnect with Anthony's mother, but by then she was engaged to another man.
What do you know about your son?
Not much. From New Zealand social welfare got hold of me. They wouldn't tell me a thing. I tried to ask lots of things.
What would you have liked to have happened?
I always just hoped that, Anthony was, had a good head on his shoulders and was doing things that he wanted to do.
Would you like to see him?
Yes, please.
If you were to just push that button there, the bloke talking to you will be your son.
Hi Jeff, I'm your son Anthony. I live here on the West Coast. It's been 29 years thinking about you and where you are and why you left and why you never contacted me. I just want to know some answers that you can give me to know who you are, so then I can find out who I am.
So, that's your boy?
Awesome.
What do you think of him?
Yeah, he looks good. He looks like a farmer. He was born on the farm. No, but he looks healthy. Spoke really well.
Would you like to meet him?
Yes, please. Yeah, I'd love to meet him.
Well done, I'll get your boy over here.
Thank you.
Jeff works for the Manly Council and has lived in the seaside suburb for the last 30 years. He's been with partner Elaine, a New Zealander from North Auckland, for 27 years. Their 2 adult daughters are both overseas. It's time to return to Greymouth to update Anthony. He arrives with his mother, and they bring with them 3 of Anthony's 4 children, including his 6-week-old identical twin daughters.
Anthony, you've never seen, heard, or know virtually nothing of your dad?
Nothing at all from my father, and that's the most thing I wondered was just what he looked like, because I've never seen a picture.
And you never had a photo or anything you could show Anthony?
No, we never had any photos together.
Well, I've been to Australia and met a chap. I'd just like you to have a listen to something here. If you just push that button there.
You serious?
Just push that button there and have a listen for a moment. Jeff, my name is David Lomas, and a chap called Anthony is trying to get hold of you.
Oh, right, yeah, is he really? Awesome.
He sounds like me. He sounds like me. He sounds...
Well, he is your dad.
I can't explain what I'm feeling like. I'm overwhelmed and I feel like it's a dream. Does it bring back memories for you?
Yeah.
Does that sound like him?
Yeah, that's him.
Does that remind you?
Yeah, that's him.
So, would you be happy to go to Sydney to meet him?
Yep, I'm ready for this. Yep, I can do this.
Just 1 week later, Anthony is aboard the Manly ferry, on his way to meet his dad.
Been waiting 29 years. It's come to this day, right down to this moment now. And I know he's just up there in that town. So close. Nearly there.
Please stand well clear of the gateway while the crew secure
Right,
the vessel.
is that?
So, if you were to look over your left shoulder and you can just see down there a man in a white shirt.
Yeah.
So, that's your dad?
Around.
You want to go down and say hello?
I do. Wow.
Good luck. Go for it.
Around. How's it going?
Anthony, awesome.
How's it going? About
Great
time.
to see you.
It's been too long. Oh, man.
Hey, look at you, hey?
Pretty proud, eh? Yeah. I didn't even know if I'd ever have this day. Like, you've always been in my mind. When I saw him, I was so happy, overwhelmed. Just wanted to pinch myself, just to make sure it wasn't a dream.
Elaine?
Hi, how's it going? Lovely to meet you. Yeah, you too. Yeah, finally, I reckon.
There is a lot of sadness in Jeff, hoping one day that his son would come looking for him, and it's good for Jeff because he's been wanting that for so long.
So you get over all right?
I feel just fantastic to meet my son. He's my only son. I've got 2 daughters, but it's just nice to have that boy and just to see how strong, big boy. It's nice.
Next day, Anthony and Jeff discover a lot of common ground.
Rugby or rugby league?
Rugby league to watch.
Oh, yeah. It's just so mind-blowing how much we're similar in so many ways, even the little wee ways that I never thought we would be the same. We are, and it was just outstanding.
Jeff can't wait to introduce Anthony to his 2 younger sisters.
Just so much more happier. We're going to keep in touch for as long as I live, for as long as he lives. I want to get married. I want him to be there, and I know he'll be there. It's going to be so great.
Tonight on Lost and Found.
Since the age of 13, I've been the only Jones in my family.
He's taken the name of the dad he's never met.
The name has never really meant anything.
Finding his father would change his life.
I feel like a dog that's been chasing a car for 20 years. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
And elusive Irishman.
He swam ashore, fell in love with a young Māori woman from here, and I'm the product, I guess, of that union.
Support back! A man of 2 worlds. Can they be reunited?
I'm hoping I'm going to be the one to make those connections. Now, sooner rather than later.
And?
I got a lot of hits for the famous singer James Brown.
When knowing a missing father's name is confusing.
Great music, but not very helpful for my search.
Will she find her dad?
Come back down here!
Families that are lost and found.
Stomachs and knots at the moment, mate.
You reckon? They're always unpredictable.
Whoa.
Hi, I'm Dave Jones. I'm looking for my biological father, Robert Jones, who my mother met and married in the early 80s in Australia. I've been looking for him for a long time, and I'd just like to get to know him and meet him and extend an invitation for him to be part of my life.
The urge to find a family member can be very strong, and you never know what will show up along the way.
Come on, boy.
31-year-old Dave Jones works in the justice system in Dunedin. He and his wife Sarah have baby twins, Archie and Arlo.
Multitasking.
Dave had a happy childhood. He grew up in Southland with his mother and older brother Tim, who has a different father. Although Dave's biological father, Robert Jones, known as Bob, was not around, Dave grew up with a loving father.
My dad now, he's given us the world. We've lived all over the world, and he's provided for us, and he's like my hero. He took on a mother with 2 young children, and that's amazing in my books.
So tell me what you know about Bob Jones.
He was Welsh. He was brought up in Wales, and then he moved to Australia in the early 80s, and he met my mother not long after that. I know he was a very smart person.
That's Bob, probably at Lone Pine in Brisbane. It does look like
especially with a beard.
Yeah.
Dave's mother, Marilyn, is dedicated to helping her son find Bob, a man she has fond memories of.
Well, I first met Bob when I was in Australia. I had a little boy, Tim. We met and fell in love and lived together for a while, and then we decided to get married. A couple of years later, probably, I found I was pregnant with David.
But the marriage to Bob didn't go well. After Marilyn discovered she was pregnant, They separated amicably. She came home to New Zealand and gave birth to Dave.
Bob had every opportunity to be in touch with David, and because of his upbringing, he was very pragmatic. And once something ended, he shut the door on that. I did write and tell his mother that David was born, and he sent David a birthday card with a $5 Australian note with no return address. That was the very last contact we had.
As a young teenager, Dave started calling himself Jones, simply because it was on his passport.
Since the age of 13, I've been the only Jones in my family, and the name has never really meant anything to me. Only since I had my 2 children, it was version 1 of the Jones family as far as I'm concerned.
When he was younger, Dave felt abandoned by his birth father. But while doing a social work degree, he realised many different factors lead to family separations.
Everybody's got a story to tell. I've been looking for him for 20 years and I feel like a dog that's been chasing a car for 20 years. I'm not sure what's going to happen when I actually catch up with that car, but I'm excited, and it would be great just to meet him and, like I said, hear his side of the story and take it from there.
Finding a Bob Jones in Australia proves impossible, so I concentrate on finding the family that Dave's mother, Marilyn, remembers he left behind in Wales. 2 daughters, Catherine and Hannah, and his wife, Marina. And when I get all 3 names linked, it is a sad connection. Dave's dad is dead. I get through to Bob's oldest daughter, Kat.
So you guys have always known about Dave and you've been looking for him?
Unexpectedly, Kat says she has 3 sisters and that all 4 of them are full sisters.
Really?
It now appears that Dave has 2 older and 2 younger sisters. But the problem is, Kat's not sure if they will all meet Dave, as the sisters are not talking to each other. I head to the UK to try to put this intriguing puzzle together. Kat has told me that she mainly grew up here in Cardiff, where Bob Jones had worked in a steel factory before being made redundant. I'm hoping that the 4 sisters are now talking to each other and will meet me. I presume you must be the Jones girls.
Yes.
Great that all 4 of you could make it.
As I said to you on the phone, Dave has been looking for your dad because he didn't know that he had passed away.
It's sad that he's, a few years too late to meet Dad. We didn't have a lot of information. We just knew that we had a half-brother.
Like my dad always had a picture of him in the living room, so we always knew who he was. But
I just know of him from what
knew that he existed. He was out there.
My dad never spoke to me about him, so I didn't really know much about him.
Yeah, we just knew his name was.
Yeah, we tried to find him. We did a couple of internet searches, but we didn't have very much information to go on, so just hit brick wall.
Well, as I said, your brother, he's done a message which is for your dad, and I wonder if I could just show you this.
Yes.
So if you were to just push that button there, this will be your brother.
Welling up already.
Come on, boy.
Dunedin dad Dave Jones has wanted to find his dad for 20 years. I've just discovered his father is dead, but I've found 4 sisters in Wales.
Welling up already.
Hi, Bob. I'm Dave. I'm your son. We've never met. These are your grandsons, Archie and Arlo Jones. We'd really like to meet you and get to know you. I've been looking for you for a very long time. It would be just good to find out about their side of the family and my side of the family. There's a whole other half of myself that I don't really know. It would be really good just to meet you. And
Skinny vision. Oh, wow.
So it's your big brother and your little brother, I suppose.
As soon as I started playing, the baby started kicking. That's weird.
He looks a bit like Dad, doesn't he? He do look like him, actually, yeah, he do.
So that's our brother.
So you guys would be happy to meet Dave if I brought him here to Wales?
Yep. Yeah. Wow, it all just seems so real now. It's crazy.
Back at Hannah's home, the sisters, who have now put aside their differences, help untangle Bob's complicated life.
You can see the resemblance in this one, Dad and David.
Yeah, definitely.
When Bob's marriage to their mum Marina ended, his redundancy money helped him move to Australia to start a new life. He left 5-year-old Kat behind and his ex-wife pregnant with Hannah. Years later, after Bob separated from Dave's mum Marilyn in Australia, he showed up in Wales for Christmas.
Well, that was the first day that Dad came back from Australia. I walked in, it was a hell of a shock.
It was the first time 6-year-old Hannah met her dad. Then, surprisingly, Bob got back together with the girl's mother, Marina, and they got married again.
And their wedding pictures, the first time. And the second time.
Big difference. Yeah, it's a big difference though. Look how young he is in that one.
The family, including Kat and the young Hannah, moved to Australia, where Yvonne and her twin brother, who was also called David, were born.
The picture of that was David just before he passed away.
After the young David was tragically killed in a house fire, the family all moved back to Wales, where Tash was born later. Bob was never the same after losing his young son, and then later, through illness, his wife Marina. Back in Dunedin, Dave and his family and his mum Marilyn are waiting. But it's difficult news I have to deliver.
Well, I have some news about your dad. I'm sorry to say it's sad news. He died in November 2008.
Oh, wow. What did he die from?
I believe it was a heart attack.
That's very sad. Oh.
I have managed to find 2 photographs of your dad, one from just before he passed away. So here they are here.
When was this taken?
Oh, gosh, it's like looking at Dave. Oh.
That's like looking at you in like 10 or so years' time, eh?
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Wow, that's awesome.
See, he was a handsome man.
There is a little bit of good news. You have 4 sisters.
Oh, wow.
Interestingly, they're full sisters. Your dad went back to Wales and reunited with his first wife.
With Marina? With Marina? Did he really? Oh, my goodness.
The other part is I've spoken to your sisters and they said your dad always kept a photograph of you.
Oh.
Your 4 sisters all want to meet you.
Oh, awesome. That's
wonderful.
Whereabouts are they?
They're all in Cardiff.
Cardiff, oh, Wales.
Dave arrives in the land of his father. Though he lived in England when he was younger, this is his first visit to Wales, where his sisters live.
I don't know what they look like. I don't know anything about them, so I'm just eager and excited, but equally anxious and sort of stomach in shreds.
So, who's the most nervous?
I think we're all equally nervous.
Yeah.
Very nervous. I still won't believe it until we see him.
He looks a bit like your dad, doesn't he?
It's going to bring back a lot, isn't it, about Dad as well?
Yeah. I'm just a bit gutted, really. I think the dads couldn't be here as well to see it.
Well, if you were to look over your right shoulder, behind you there. Can you see those four ladies?
Yeah.
That's your sisters. You better go down and say hello.
All right.
Wow, this is really happening.
Yeah.
So after all these years, he's there.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you. Wow. I'm Kat.
Nice. Hi. Nice to meet you.
Yvonne.
Yvonne, nice to meet you. Hi. Hi. Oh, wow. I've been looking for you guys for a long time.
Overwhelming. You look so much like Dad.
Really overwhelming.
It's just amazing.
I've just continuously looked for you guys, but it's just been so hard.
Amazing that he's here right in front of us, you know. He's just like one of us, basically.
This still feels like a dream.
It's been a massive day, and there's a long evening of catching up for Dave and his new sisters.
On the one hand, I'm deeply saddened that my father had passed, and that was the last scenario I'd expected. But on the plus side, meeting these girls and kind of meeting him through them, you know, it feels like he's present as well. And it's just been overwhelming, and I've just sort of grabbed it with both hands, and you know, it's just been great.
Kia ora. My name is Te Rangita Wairiri. I can trace my Māori ancestry back 72 generations. I'm also Irish. I know nothing about my Irish side. Can you help me find my Irish family?
53-year-old T.Y. Reedy lives in Auckland and works in the film industry. His many credits include working on Once Were Warriors and a host of other local productions. T.Y., who has a partner and 4 children, knows a lot about his Maori heritage, but almost nothing about the man who gave him his surname, an Irish sailor called Thomas Reedy. T.Y. wants to find out about Thomas and to meet any Reedy relatives still living in Ireland.
It's been more than 150 years since Thomas Tyne came to New Zealand. The family has never really been over there to search around for where he came from. We really need to make those connections now, sooner rather than later, and I'm hoping I'm going to be the one to make those connections.
Father of 4, T.Y. Reedy knows all of his Maori ancestry, but he knows nothing of his Irish side. T.Y. grew up on a farm on the East Coast and returns to Ruatoria whenever he can. He has lots of Reedy relatives here, nearly 600 of them.
Support
Many in this room, including T.Y., trace their lineage back to a Pākehā patriarch they know almost nothing about. No photographs exist of Thomas Reedy. T.Y. takes me to the place where his ancestor arrived in New Zealand, and indeed is buried.
Tuparo is the original settlement of Ruatoria. It stretched from the grass verge down there right up to this area about here.
So how did the Reedy clan start?
Well, Thomas Tyne Reedy was a whaler, and they would anchor out here, and he swam ashore. Fell in love with a young Māori woman from here by the name of Mihi Tuho, and I'm the product, I guess, of that union today. The church up here, that's where Thomas Tyne married Mihi Tuho. This is where he's buried here.
But there's no headstones?
No, we bought a tohunga in here to try and locate where he's buried in this area. Unfortunately, we couldn't locate him.
So no sign of him at all here?
Unfortunately for us, no.
Well, we might have to take you to Ireland to try and track down your family's heritage.
I'm sure the family would love that.
I establish the names of Thomas's parents, John Reedy and Bridget Wall, and that leads me to a birth certificate for Thomas. The double E spelling seems to be a mistake that was carried over. I discover the Reedys owned property, but were far from rich. When it comes to locating present-day Irish relatives, I hit a brick wall. Arriving at Shannon Airport in the southwest of Ireland, I head towards Ennis, a market town in the main centre for County Clare. The nearby Kilmaley Church is where parish records relating to the Reedy family are held. The details here give me a sense of Irish history. How the potato famine left 1 million dead and forced as many again to leave Ireland forever. Given the dates, Thomas was clearly one who left for a better life. My next stop is Clare County Heritage Centre. I've arranged to meet local historian David Dillon, who actually lives in the village that was the home of the Reedy family. Hello, are you David?
I am indeed, yes.
David Lomas from New Zealand. I'm told you're the expert on a little town called Glenletterfinny.
Yes, well, I come from there.
Essentially, we're trying to track down relatives of John Reedy and Bridget Wall, who got married in the early 1800s here in Ireland. Okay. They had these children. One of them, Thomas Tyne Reedy, went to New Zealand and he married a local woman there. One of the descendants there is trying to track down his Irish relatives.
I believe that I know the house in question. It is now unoccupied, but...
So you know the actual house?
I know the actual house.
Where John Reedy and Bridget Wall lived?
Absolutely, yes.
So would you be happy to take T.Y. Reedy, who's the descendant down here, to the old Reedy home?
Yes, indeed, I'd be delighted to, because I'm very interested in local history myself, so I'd only be too glad to do it, yes.
David also tells me that the house was once owned by a Mrs. Rita Maloney, who it turns out is T.Y.'s closest Irish relative. So I head to her home to meet Rita and her husband, Pat. So the New Zealand Reedys, the descendants of Thomas Tyne Reedy, there's 600 of them now, and they're trying to find their Irish roots.
Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah, that's wonderful.
One of them, T.Y. Reedy, he's come here to Ireland and he's trying to track down his long-lost relatives.
Yes.
And he's done a video message, which I would like to show you if I could. This is the man who's coming here to look for his relatives.
Kia ora. My name is Te Rangitawa Reedy. I can trace my Māori ancestry back 72 generations. I'm also Irish. I know nothing about my Irish side.
It would be great if we could reconnect with our Irish ancestors after almost 200 years.
I wish I could go over and visit now.
So, that's the New Zealand Reedy tribe?
Amazing.
You spell
delighted with it.
Differently.
No, R-E-I-D-Y, isn't it?
They spell it Reedy with 2 E's in New Zealand. It was a spelling mistake 150 odd years ago and it's never been corrected.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you be happy to meet with T.Y.?
Oh, yes, yes.
How does it feel to know that you have 600 Maori relatives in New Zealand?
Oh, it is fantastic. You know, like, it's just fantastic.
T.Y. arrives in Ireland. It's his first visit to the land of his forefathers.
Here we go, round again.
He has brought with him a number of things, one of which is a song he's composing that he hopes to perform for any Irish relatives that he's lucky enough to meet.
Farewell to this land of my forefathers' hands. Farewell, kith and kin, my beloved Ireland.
I take T.Y. 20 kilometres out from Ennis to what's left of the settlement of Glenletterfinny. once this area was County Reedy. So, well, this is essentially where your great-great-grandfather came from. It was a little settlement called Glen Letterfinney.
Yes.
I mean, this is the 1901 census, but it sort of illustrates who lived here. Mary Dillon, James Reedy, Mary Reedy, Thomas Reedy, John Reedy, Daniel Reedy. They were all the homeowners here.
I see, yes.
And there's a chap, David Dillon, who's related to the Dillons from here. He's going to meet us here, hopefully, if I've got the right spot. Nice to see you again.
Hello, David. Nice to see you.
This is T.Y. Reedy.
Hello, T.Y. You're very welcome to Ireland.
Hello, David. It's a pleasure being here.
There is something just up the road which I believe you will be really interested to see if you just follow me.
I'm in Ireland helping 53-year-old T.Y. Reedy find his Irish roots. Local historian David Dillon has helped me find something T.Y. will not be expecting.
If you just follow me.
Thank you. Thank you.
T.Y. has no idea that he's about to arrive at his ancestral home. When was this house built?
Well, we think it's built in the 1830s. And of course, the most interesting thing of all about it is that this is the very house where your great-great-grandfather, Thomas Reedy, was born in.
What was it?
This house here. His parents were John Reedy and Bridget Wall. And this is the house that Thomas Reedy left in the 1850s.
So Thomas Tyne was from here?
He was born in this house.
Oh, amazing.
So it was well worth your visit.
Thank you very much. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Simply standing in the doorway of the house where Thomas Tyne left to come to New Zealand. That doorway was one that Thomas Tyne would never go back through. I wondered what his mother was feeling at that time. Would she ever see her son again?
This would be my Papa Kainga, my Turanga Waiwai. Papa Kainga being the place where I live, where I come from.
Yes.
Turanga Waiwai, the place where I stand, where I'm strong, the place that is mine.
Yes.
And even though I'm Māori from New Zealand, the Irish blood in me now is singing to this whenua, to this land.
Yes.
It's very emotional, very spiritual moment.
I can well imagine, yes. I can well imagine, yes. And I'm quite sure it's your first visit to Ireland, but after this, I'm quite sure it won't be your last.
I can assure you it will not be my last. The next time I'll bring my family.
Excellent.
I have another surprise for T.Y. I take him to the Kilmaley Church, where earlier I'd found Thomas Reedy's baptismal record. The spot I really want to show you is just over here. Right here on this spot, on the 10th of April, 1846. Your great-great-grandfather was baptized right here.
Oh, my God. Incredible.
So, in a few minutes, Father Larkin's going to say Mass here, and he's going to welcome you back to the Church of your forebears.
A very warm welcome this evening to T.Y. Reedy to celebrate his great-great-grandfather who left here in the late 1860s.
I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Lord the Son.
Having now gained some sense of the life his ancestor Thomas Reedy experienced before he left for New Zealand, it's time to introduce T.Y. to an Irish relative, a descendant of those who stayed behind. So this is your nearest Irish relative,
okay.
Mrs. Maloney. I'll leave you to it.
You're welcome. Hello, Mrs. Maloney.
Hello.
Miss T.Y. Reedy.
Right, you're welcome.
Nice to meet you. Wonderful to be here.
I'm related to you. You know what I say?
So nice to meet you.
Oh, very nice to meet you, too.
Yes.
Very nice indeed.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh.
Yes, your ancestor is a brother to my great-great-grandfather.
That's right. My grandfather, Jimmy Reedy. Yeah.
Now, Rita is an amazing lady. It was just like being at home, sitting with some of my aunts. And overwhelming emotion for me.
Yes.
I could see myself in her. And she could see herself in me. That was a wonderful moment. It was a wonderful moment.
Through David, I've organised for Tiwai to meet yet another Irish relative. But Ireland turns out to be a small place, and the distant cousin bumps into us instead.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hi, David.
Lovely day.
Good.
You're like a man who's working hard.
That's right. Trying to anyway.
Well, we were going to call you tomorrow with somebody special who's come all the way from New Zealand.
This is a brother of mine, I'm afraid. He looks like a brother of mine.
This is T.Y. Reedy, all the way from New Zealand. And this is
How you doing?
Michael Dillon,
You'll pass as my brother
who's
anyway.
a cousin of yours.
Michael, it's unbelievable. You look like my granduncle. You look like members of my family.
And you look like my brother.
Before I came over here, I was thinking to myself whether or not I'd see myself in my Irish relatives.
By God.
And blow me down. And I like the dress. I like the...
You like the slurry?
Yes, yes, yes. well, I come from that too. I'm a man of the land.
You wouldn't be as dirty as this, Harley.
Dirtier.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Michael, it's nice to meet you.
Wait the way, man, of it.
T.Y. Reedy's Irish journey is coming to an end, but there are two more things he wants to do. The Kilmaley Church Cemetery dates back to the 14th century, and according to parish records, it's the place where Thomas Tyne Reedy's parents are buried. But there are no obvious Reedy headstones.
The stones are so ancient that it's impossible to read the inscriptions. I came across an enclave in the wall, in the rock, and it occurred to me that this is the place to place the tonga, the greenstone. My name is Trangitawa Reedy. I'm the son of Thomas Tyne Reedy, my great-great-grandfather. I am Māori, I am Irish. I have returned today to bring the spirit of my great-great-grandfather to lay amongst his Irish ancestors. I bought an adze because adze were used by Māoris to carve and cut things. And the symbolism for me is that adze cuts the distance between Ireland and Aotearoa. The haka acknowledges the spirits, both Māori and Irish, and also is a farewell to the tonga and the spirit of my great-great-grandfather, Thomas Tyne Reedy, whose spirit now has returned back to Ireland and rests here amongst his ancestors.
On Sunday evening, T.Y.'s last night in Ireland, he gets the chance to perform the song he has written, To Ireland, a song about Thomas Reedy.
Farewell to this land of my forefathers' hand. Farewell to lone mother's love. Farewell, kith and kin, my beloved Ireland. I shall keep you in my heart. I shall keep you in my heart.
My name is Helena Marks. I am looking for my father, James Brown. I am looking for him because I have never actually met him.
I want to find out who my family is because it's important to me.
32-year-old Harina Marks lives in Tauranga. She works as a cafe barista. Harina has a 9-year-old son, Christian.
It's not a race.
She's a keen sportswoman playing senior netball and soccer. Her son's father recently disappeared from their life and moved to Australia. And that has prompted Harina to reflect on her own life, growing up without her dad.
Here, let's pick up some of these oranges for me.
Harina, an only child, has never asked her mother about her birth father. Although her mother is happy that Harina wants to find her dad, she doesn't want to be part of the search. When you were growing up, did you think about your dad?
I could almost say never, because he was never there, because he was never part of it. It's more reflective, I think, now, because my son's 9 years old and his father's just recently moved to Australia and has had no contact with him. And I find that hard, so... Because he knows who he is, he knows he's in his life and everything like that, and he chooses not to be a part of it, and that hurts.
Harina got to meet her father, James Brown, just twice that she was old enough to remember. Harina was in Whakatane Hospital when she was 8 after a motorcycle accident. The young sportswoman was left with a damaged leg.
While I was there one day, somebody sort of came up to me and was just like, "Hi, Harina, I'm your father." And sort of spent about like 10 minutes with me, and that's when my nana tells me that he was there with 2 other girls, young girls who were in hospital at the same time. So it's to assume that they are possibly my sisters.
Through the years, Harina has tried to find her father, but online searches have been frustrating.
I got a lot of hits for the famous singer James Brown. Great music, but not very helpful for my search.
Why now to try and find James Brown?
Knowledge, information, who his parents were, whakapapa for myself, and any other siblings. But not only for myself, but for my son as he grows up. And it'd be nice to actually be able to give him information about myself.
So I'm searching for a New Zealand James Brown, and it gets more complicated when I discover that he was adopted. When I apply for his birth record, I'm in luck. It shows the adoptive parents' names. Then on Terranet, the property ownership website, I find they're still living in the same Whakatane house they've lived in for the last 50 years. His parents are happy to give me an Auckland number for James Brown.
Thanks.
And he says he'll meet me the next day.
You James?
James, yep. David?
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming down. Grab a seat. How did it come to that you lost contact with your girl?
32-year-old barista Harina Marks could never find her dad. I need to find out if James Brown wants to meet his daughter.
Grab a seat. How did it come to that you lost contact with your girl?
Yeah, well, me and Shona, we were quite young at the time. She was working in the bank. I was starting off as a civil worker. And then for her to career her future in the bank, she had to move to Auckland. We made that decision to part as friends. And then on that, we found out she's pregnant. She still wanted her career, so I said, well, I'm settled in my job, I don't want to leave. And so, yeah, she just came up to Auckland, and that was
so
the last I'd seen of her and Harina.
And when I rang you and said that Harina was looking, were you pleased that she was looking?
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah.
What do you remember of Harina when she was a little girl?
She was a scrawny little thing, yeah.
Well, would you like to see what she looks like now and see what she has to say to you?
Yep.
So if you were to just push that button there.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Harina Marks, and I'm your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Last time you see me would have been about when I was 8, in a hospital, at Pakistani hospital. Lots changed since then, and I've tried looking for you myself and have had no luck. It would be nice to meet you and to get to know you.
Oh, you found me. No, she's gorgeous.
So not the scrawny little thing anymore.
No. She's got all her father's features.
She's beautiful, you said. So, would you like to meet her?
Yep. Yeah, most definitely.
James lived in Whakatane until 2001, then moved to Auckland, where he works in construction. He's married with 8 other children, aged 9 to 36.
So if you get to meet your dad, what are the things you tell him about that you're most proud of?
It'd be, first off, my son. That's the first thing I'd tell him about. And then it's my childhood, all my sporting achievements and everything I did like that.
And is Christian excited by the prospect of meeting his granddad?
Yeah. Excited for me, because I've never met him. And so it'll be a new thing for both of us. It'll be really exciting.
Well, I have met your dad.
You have?
And he said he would very much like to meet you.
You would? Yep.
And you have 8 brothers and sisters.
Whoa. 8. Wow. He was a busy man.
He's in Auckland, so you'll have to go up there to meet him. Take Christian with you. Two days later, Harina arrives with young son Christian for the meeting she thought would never happen.
So tell me how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, freak out factor of about 8.5. It's up there. It's up there.
Just have a look over here at that. You see that man standing there?
Yep.
That's your dad. You want to go and say hello?
Yep.
All right. Off you go. Good luck.
Finally.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, man, you've grown. Still the same. Still the same. No, I knew it was her straight away, just looking at her. Just excited and, yeah, no, I haven't got any words. Words just can't explain it. How long have you been looking for me?
20 years.
20 years?
Yep.
Didn't the mum wouldn't help you?
No.
Well, you found me.
Hang on, I can hear footprints. And this one here is Christian.
You must be Christian. Hello, how are you? Hey? You've got green eyes. Where'd you get your green eyes from?
I don't know.
Hey, you don't know. It's good. We can only go forward from now on. She can meet the rest of the family, and we've just got so much to look forward to, and just move forward, and we've got a bond.
Harina and James keep in touch. They've visited each other and she has met some of her 8 brothers and sisters. The others are overseas, and one day she is looking forward to meeting her entire whānau.
It just starts a new chapter, new path in life, and it's great. Very happy.
Next week on Lost and Found.
That was a bit of a profound moment when I actually told them that I was a half-brother.
What became of his father, the shepherd?
I said, well, I don't know any secrets, do you?
Does she know enough to find her birth dad? And will he want her back?
It's quite weird, because he's my dad.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Next week on Lost and Found.
When you make a commitment, you stick with it.
The teenage daughter who vanished. Her dad left when she was born.
Would he want me in his life?
And he's never met his father.
I'm predicting that he's tall and good looking.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Next week on Lost and Found.
I feel like a dog that's been chasing a car for 20 years.
Finding his father would change his life.
Support back!
A man of 2 worlds. Can they be reunited? And
I got a lot of hits for the famous singer James Brown.
will she find her dad?
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air. Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.